We Bury the Dead. Very. I, it's not worth it. Definitely not worth it.
Please subscribe.
Hello there, Namaste. So We Bury the Dead stars Daisy Ridley, and using the word stars with Daisy Ridley kind of feels kind of weird, especially since Star Wars both started and ended her career. But this film is basically feels like it starts in the second act. It introduces you to the Tasmanian island where the US has just did an experimental bomb and it basically shut off everyone's brains. And they have volunteers, family members of the deceased come to the island to basically round up the dead. But when the dead stand up, let the military know so they could shoot them in the head. I mean, there are so many things in this that make you just go like, yeah, zombies, sure, I can believe that. Having military forces be there, having crazy people be there, yes, I can believe all that. Having family members show up to the island to basically go and collect their deceased, I cannot wrap my head around that. There is no way any government would ever allow, any civilized government would ever allow their family members to be the ones in charge of, finding the dead. There is no way. But other than that, we are introduced to Daisy Ridley. She basically was happily married and wanted to have a kid. That's all we know. And as the story progresses, we find out like there was some conflict between her and her husband. She couldn't bear a child. So that continues to play out through the entire thing. She ends up meeting a guy who's basically her partner in pulling out the dead bodies. And honestly, I liked him as a character. He was enjoyable. He has this piece of dialogue where she's like, okay, we need to run. I need to find my husband. We're going to do this. And he's all, I'm not going to do that. I'm doing this for, I'm being very patriotic here. I'm doing this for my country. And it seems so believable when he says it. And then he's like, shh, I'm just kidding. And I was like, oh, I like this guy. I like this guy. But the entire film feels like someone had watched 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, and then finished watching 28 years later. And the entire thing is just like, oh my gosh. We already had a zombie pregnancy. We saw that 28 years later. We had an island festered with zombies. We had that in 28 days later. We had people show up to basically count the dead in 28 weeks later. It was like everything was thrown into it. It's like, oh, you know what? Having all these films in one would make it much better. And it was not. This film is like so drawn out, so boring, because it's trying to slowly build to the scares and trying to slowly build to the sentimental ending with the whole thing, and it's just like it feels forced. It feels forced, mainly because you have family members volunteering to go help pick up the dead from the island where their family members are. It makes no sense to me. It would be strangers. It would be people like, it would make sense if she showed up, sneaking onto the island using another passport, basically claiming she's not related to one of the deceased. The fact that she tells the officers, like the military officer stationed there, yeah, my husband's here. You send them back. You send them back. They're a liability. But everything's kind of predictable as how it's going to play out. Even the insane guy, when he shows up, like there's an insane person who also was a military soldier whose family was on the island. Go figure something's going to happen. It's like everything is so cliche and so stupid. Yes, it's a hazard. But guess what? If it was the entire world that was affected, I could understand family members getting involved. It's the fact that the whole thing is located on a remote, well, not entirely remote, but island. Come on. It's all on one island. You could easily have like people from UN bring in dispatch their people from around the globe to go help out. Why bring in family members? But yeah, this film is more aggravating than anything because everything, like, in a zombie film, you suspend disbelief. Seeing the dead rise, yes, acceptable. But like having family members come to the island to go and look for their dead family members is like, was way too far for me. When the film started off on that note, it was no good. But there were some potentially good scenes. Like there was one scene where a grandmother or mother of a kid who had passed away on the island went to the island, and then she basically finds her son and she breaks down crying on the back of the truck and everything. I was thinking this would be a whole an amazing moment to show why family members don't get involved. I was thinking she was going to do there's this thing called like officer suicide where people will run at officers, like attack them just so officers will take their life. I was thinking she was going to emulate that, but no, they did nothing with it. All she does is break down crying and walk off screen. That was it. That was absolutely it. And then there was a funny scene because there was a heavily overweight person taking up 2 theater seats right in front of me. And in one of the scenes when they're collecting bodies, there's this overweight person that's too big for the bed. And I thought that was funny. I thought that was hilarious because they were right in front of me, taking up 2 seats, and I literally looked at them and looked up, and I was like, the resemblance is uncanny. Well, except the person in front of me was a little wider than the person on the bed. But other than that, this thing was so boring, and it's just like, I can't shut off my brain enough to believe that family members will go to the island. That is the biggest red flag in this film, and it basically it basically makes everything else unbelievable because of it. Like, just have an introduction where she's kind of pretending to be someone else to sneak on the island. That would have made me probably look past everything else. Why? Because they didn't welcome her in. She snuck in. Anyways, I watch these things so you don't have to. This is one of those films that nobody will ever remember. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles.
You guys got a video? It's so bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait, wait like that.